Look at the subterranean levels of the Rani stepwell. This mind-bending geometry and scale of construction rivals the world's grandest medieval monuments. This micro-precision, carved directly into beams and pillars, required immense wealth and absolute political stability. Millions of people visit these UNESCO World Heritage Sites every year, yet the specific architects behind them, the dynasty that actually paid for and engineered this scale of construction, rarely make the front page of mainstream history. To understand who they were, we have to rewind to the year 942 CE. Western India was fragmented. Constant territorial skirmishes had created a power vacuum, leaving the entire region vulnerable to collapse. Into this chaos stepped a ruler named Mularaja. He established a new capital at Patan and founded the Solanki Dynasty, tracing his lineage to the Suryavanshi Kshatriyas, a traditional class of solar warriors. Mularaja established a state designed to fund a massive cultural and architectural explosion, creating a legacy specifically engineered to outlast his reign. That stability was tested in 1025 CE. During the reign of Bhima I, Mahmud of Ghazni launched a catastrophic invasion, devastating the Somnath temple. A total structural collapse of the state seemed likely. Instead, the Solankis immediately mobilized their funds to execute a massive, expensive reconstruction of the Somnath temple complex. Recovering from that kind of devastation required immediate capital. They achieved this through a strict monarchical administration system that divided the empire into managed wealthy provinces called Vishayas. This animated map shows how that economic engine functioned. Notice how glowing streams of taxes and raw materials flow from those provincial notes directly inward to the central treasury at Patan. This was a regulated machine. The king relied on a specialized network of appointed ministers, military commanders, and regional officials to keep the provincial extraction running without interruption. By maintaining a bottomless treasury, the Solankis proved that real imperial resilience requires an economic system capable of outfunding and outbuilding whatever an invading army manages to burn down. This economic machine peaked between 1094 and 1143 CE under Siddharaja Jayasimha. He expanded the empire's borders, forging a secured and wealthy state. Because the borders were finally secure, the Solankis could redirect their vast treasury away from constant warfare. They began pouring their money directly into physical monuments. To spend that wealth, they developed a distinct, ultra-intricate architectural language. We call it the Maru-Gurjara style. You can see the structural ambition of this style here, at the Sun Temple at Modhera, with its massive, intricately constructed pillared hall. But it's the obsessive detail that sets Maru-Gurjara apart. Looking at the exterior walls, notice how standing figures and deities cover every inch of stone. The builders utilized every blank surface to encode their cultural stories into the rock. These temples operated as a geopolitical flex. They stood as undeniable physical proof of a prosperous society, permanently etched into an indestructible medium. As the architecture grew more refined, so did the empire's internal philosophy, especially during the reign of Kumarapala, beginning in 1143 CE. Guided by the Jain scholar Acharya Hemachandra, Kumarapala became a deep patron of Jainism and its core tenet of nonviolence. This state-sponsored patronage triggered a long era of peace, where the Solanki territory functioned as a central hub for literature, education, and religious pluralism. But a pacifist interior required strict exterior defense. In 1178, during the reign of Bhima II, the invasion forces of Muhammad Ghori bore down on Gujarat. The Solanki military met them head-on. They completely routed Ghori's army, violently repelling the invasion and securing the Western Front. This is the core paradox of the Solanki state. They required a massive, uncompromising military apparatus at their borders, specifically to protect the fragile, delicate pacifism thriving at their center. However, no political entity maintains that balance forever. After Bhima II, a series of weak successors inherited the throne, leading to internal power struggles. Relentless subsequent invasions exploited these internal fractures. Eventually, the weakened Solanki state collapsed, yielding power to the Vaghela dynasty. But while their political apparatus failed, their long-term strategy for historical immortality succeeded. Look at this high-angle view of the temple structure, centered inside the massive tiered stepwell. Engineering projects of this scale easily survived the centuries of warfare that followed. They became impossible to erase. Because the Solankis chose to pour their extracted wealth into literature and stone, like the highly intricate, repetitive carvings you see covering these interior pillars, their identity survived the loss of their crown. The Solanki dynasty proves that historical power lies in the indestructible physical blueprint a society leaves behind for the future.